Yeah, it is. I'm sure that the lessons will keep building on themselves, but the idea of the mind, and even when I think about the movie projector,
Mm.
kind of being in the place where I'm at, it's still a little somewhat complicated.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I touch on it, and then it's a little fuzzy. Does that make sense?
Oh my
Which
God.
is fine. I think we all
Absolutely.
do.
Yeah. Well, and you can touch on it. It's like, oh, who had the line? Oh, it was Leonard Cohen,
Oh,
who
love
studied
Leonard.
with a Zen master, right, for
Uh,
years. Interesting story. I studied with that same Zen master
oh,
went on a retreat with him, had no idea, never met Leonard Cohen,
yeah.
but I knew that he had studied with him. That was a while back. Anyway, Leonard Cohen said, maybe you know better than I, it's it's the cracks
Mm,
that let the light come in. Yeah, and
yeah.
so you get these glimmers where like, oh my God, everything sort of makes sense. I can't even put words to it, but it makes sense. And then the ego races back in to cover the crack up that let the light in. And so we get those are little what the course calls a holy instant, where we get these instants of beauty and peace where everything seems to fall away, if but for an instant. And then and in truth, that's all there is one eternal instant, which we can't really wrap our mind around eternity because we're so anchored in time.
Yeah.
And so anyway, congratulations. You know, that's the crack that lets the light in is the undoing. It's the whole practice, and it gets a little bit wider and wider and wider, and you know, it's the mystics and the saints that we've that have been before us, so to speak, and paved the way and keep reassuring us. You know, Yogananda and Saint Francis, and uh, you know, um, we got David Hoffmeister, we got Eckhart Tolle, lots of, and many we don't even, who aren't so famous, right? But once you know it, that's all you want. And really, like the Course says, we're all ready and we're all chosen. Just when you're ready to listen, then it starts to really come through. Anyway, thanks for that, Lisa. All right, so today I'm going to start on your back, have your head on the bolster. Need a strap again. We're going to start by bringing the right knee toward the left shoulder. Interlock your fingers over the knee if it's reachable, and aim diagonally across your chest. Keep the left knee pointing straight up toward the ceiling and feel this diagonal quality of the thigh coming across your torso. Close your eyes, rest your head. Just let the shape do its work. Let the yoga come to you. And I'm going to open the lesson with a little reading here. Lesson number 46. God is the love in which I forgive. This love, the follow-up to lesson number 46, which was, or lesson 45, which was, God is the mind with which I think. Today, God is the love in which I forgive. And I just love this opening line. God does not forgive because he has never condemned. That line right there is the total undoing of the ego's construct of God, that there's a vengeful God, that there's a God that we have to please, that we have to qualify to be loved by God, that we have to believe in God enough to be saved. No, we cannot believe in God ever enough to be saved because it's a belief that made up the dream. It's a belief that made up a false and condemning God. This sentence alone could be a gentle undoing that saves you thousands of eons of time. God does not forgive because he has never condemned. And there must be condemnation before forgiveness is necessary. Forgiveness is not an attribute of heaven because it's not necessary. On the other hand, forgiveness is the great need of this world, but that is because it is a world of illusions. Lower your foot slowly to the floor. Yeah, so forgiveness is not an attribute of heaven, but it's exactly what we need in the world because it is a world of beliefs and illusions. Bring your left knee towards your right shoulder. Interlock your fingers over the knee if that's reachable and very doable. Sink into the groin. Feel the resistance without resistance. Resistance is only a state of mind. Those who forgive are thus releasing themselves from illusions, while those who withhold forgiveness are binding themselves to them. As you condemn only yourself, so do you forgive only yourself. So all condemnation is self-condemnation. All righteousness is self-righteousness. All hate is self-hate. Projected out. That which is given is received. So it's like the ego thought system and the thoughts of condemnation and fear and vengeance and those kinds of things. It's like a tar baby. The more we try to shake the tar off, the stickier it becomes. And it seems like we can get a little bit off, but then the guilt comes back in, and then it only grows. It's just part of really the only sort of law of attraction is that which I give, I receive. Lower your foot slowly to the floor and open your hands up to the side, and then just have a moment here and bathe in the notion that all love is self-love. Now the ego will get a hold of that and turn that into narcissism. All forgiveness is self-forgiveness. I forgive myself for the idea that I can be hurt. I forgive myself for the idea that I even have the possibility of hating or condemning. I can forgive myself for believing in what is only false. All forgiveness sets myself free, and in doing so, I change the world. Now find your strap and open your strap up, bring it around the ball of the right foot. Extend the leg, flex the foot towards you, open the sole of the foot. That's it. Now, a subtle spiral through the leg. You turn the heel out slightly. That's it. You just enough to feel some resistance, like the whole leg turning like a foam roller on its axis. You turn this long thing called your leg here through a straight knee, and then you slowly bring the toes toward your left shoulder. Just keep the knee straight. Walk your hands up the strap, and as this direction happens, the real emphasis is in the weight of the strap and the weight of your arms influencing the strap down through the femur into the hip. And with this rotation happening in the leg, you may get a little cramp in the outer right hip, and that sensation is welcoming. There may be a congested or even a cramp feeling in the inner thigh and the groin. That is welcome. I've said it before, and I'll probably say it many more times. Like the Course says, the way is through. Right? We don't go over the obstacle. We don't go around the obstacle. With a little faith, with some trust, with a lot of self-forgiveness, we go through. On the other side is the brightest, most welcoming love and light that we could never imagine. But above all else, it's only what we want. That's nice. Gently, back to the right. Lower your foot to the floor. Take a rest on your hands if you need it. Take a rest in your body and your mind if you want it. And if you're ready, when you're ready, put the strap on the ball of the left foot. Hands high, knee nice and straight. That's the priority. And then slowly turning the thigh in, heel slightly out, bring the leg toward the right shoulder. And as you do, feel down through the femur into this ball and socket joint called your hip. As you condemn only yourself, so do you forgive only yourself. See, it would be false to even think I can forgive another. It could be a first step, but really, if I'm going to set the other free and if I'm going to set myself free, I have to forgive myself for holding the grudge in the first place. Yet, although God does not forgive, his love is nevertheless the basis of forgiveness. Fear condemns and love forgives. Forgiveness thus undoes what fear has produced, returning the mind to the awareness of God and his perfect love. For this reason, forgiveness can truly be called salvation. It is the means by which illusions disappear. Yes, I just had this vision of Christ, just walking through the mist. The illusion is nothing but a mist, a smokescreen that we've hardened And the more we merge with the mind of God, the more we use his love as a tool for forgiveness, the softer the illusion becomes, and we just eventually just walk right through it. We walk right home, where God takes the last step, and we return to the home we never really left. Gently lower your foot to the floor. Good. Now bring your hands to the bolster and slowly push the bolster away toward the center of the room. Yep, slide it away. Your head will come to the floor. That's it. And if it's too demanding, put your hands on top of the bolster. Open the throat. Press your feet into the floor slightly, and then just improve the way your whole backside broadens and lengthens into the floor. Chin up, spread the fingers, reach away. And just have enough effort to have a very enjoyable, open experience here. With your eyes closed, search your mind for a moment here for those whom you have not forgiven. The first one or two people or things that come into mind will be the ones you can work with. It says, it does not matter how much, in quotes, you have not forgiven them. You have forgiven them entirely or not at all. And if you're really gently open and available to the truth, you will see, yes, it seems there's an other to forgive, but really I'm forgiving myself for condemning them in the first place. Hold that to the light and it will be undone. Now, just leave the bolster. Slowly, slowly bring your arms down by your sides. And when you're ready, roll onto one side, push yourself up, finding a comfortable seated position. And resting into your structure, seated comfortably, I'll share a few of the suggested lines that are italicized in the lesson. With your eyes closed, just feel into your heart, feel into the depth of your deepest, most loving, most forgiving center. God is the love with which I love myself. Now that's the line that'll keep us from becoming narcissists. God is the love with which I love myself. God is the love in which I am blessed. I cannot be guilty because I am a son of God. I have already been forgiven because God never condemned. No fear is possible in a mind beloved of God. there is no need to attack because love has forgiven me. It's the essence of the idea for today that we can keep coming back to throughout the day. You may find your own phrases and your own words that ring true. And if they do ring true and they do actually work, then you can rest assured that is the voice for love coming through. That's the Holy Spirit coming through. It's the Holy Spirit that would say these words and mean them. Bring your hands to your heart. God is the love with which I forgive. And thus set myself free. Namaste. Hmm. All right. Well, we'll bathe in that light today. Who needs soap?
I love how just when you said ring, you kind of went. Anyway, I was just with the Leonard Cohen, so I don't know if that's why you did that, but it was.
When I said what?
Well, just because you had mentioned Leonard Cohen
Yeah,
earlier,
yeah.
and just your comment when we were like in our prayer position, you said the word ring, and I don't know why, but you kind of went. I don't know if that's why you went, but like in my mind, it was whenever you said ring, I was like ring the bell. Like I know that song really well, the Leonard Cohen song.
The crack in that's the light in?
Yeah, and so part of it is like ring the bell, ring the bell.
Yeah, I don't know it that well.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. So it wasn't even connected, but like in my mind, when you said ring, I'm hearing his voice sing
Everything.
the song, and
oh
you
yeah.
just kind of had this in your voice when you were speaking with. Like it was,
yeah, it resonated.
Happiness. It was like sweet.
I'll have to go back and watch that.
I know,